So Charlie Kirk strongly defended and modeled the principles of free speech.
Way of life means you speak your mind without retribution, without being kicked off social media by a self-righteous censor in Silicon Valley.
Free speech is our birthright as Americans. When you have free speech, we're going to get closer to the truth, closer to the best way to govern, closer to the best polity for the country.
You should be allowed to say outrageous things. You should be allowed to say contrarian things.
Now, teachers and professors, even pilots, are among those who have been fired or suspended after making inappropriate comments about Kirk's murder online. Moments ago, Attorney General Bondi warning, quote, hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. It's a crime. And for far too long, we've watched the radical left normalize threats, call for assassinations, and cheer political violence. That era is over. Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley argues Charlie Kirk wouldn't fire people who hated him, he'd win them over, and he joins us now. Professor, I know you're free speech peers. I am in many respects. But it looks like some of these professors are crossing the line and celebrating, glorifying murder.
Well, Lawrence, there is no question how grotesque these statements are, and that is what Charlie did, is he held a mirror to the face of higher education to show the hypocrisy, hate, the intolerance that has taken over our campuses. That's why they hated him. That's why, in all likelihood, he died, because he was such a figure of clarification, to expose all of this. It would be a disservice to his life and legacy to use this murder to attack the very thing he fought for most, which is free speech. I knew Charlie. I liked him a great deal. And I respected the fact that he was someone who opposed all cancel campaigns, left and right. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot take measures against individuals who do cross the line. There's a teacher who played this video of the assassination and raved about Kirk in a classroom in Canada. Of course that person should be fired. There's a Secret Service agent who glorified or condoned this killing. That's really incompatible with that position. When you have people who are using their positions, their official titles, if they're doing this during work hours, they can be punished. They can be terminated. But at the same time, we have to honor Charlie's legacy by saying that he wanted debate. He didn't want to silence people. He wanted them to speak. He wanted them to speak to him. And we do that by protecting free speech.
Let's talk about that debate, because Bill Maher puts it this way about one side is open to having a debate, but the other side isn't. Let's play it.
They're the people who don't want to talk. It's my main issue with them. And Charlie Kirk was a guy who, he was always talking. And I talked to him here. You know, the right-wingers, say what you want about them, but they talk to you. They're not into this leftist think. The left really has much more of a, I don't talk to you, I don't want to deal with you, you're deplorable, I can't break bread with you. Yeah. That attitude, and all the right-wingers, they don't have that attitude.
So do you agree with that, Jonathan?
I do, wholeheartedly. I think that was right on the money. I just returned from Europe, where I was speaking on free speech. And free speech isn't a free fall in Europe. And they did precisely what some people are arguing today. They used hateful rhetoric, inflammatory rhetoric, to silence everyone, to expand censorship. And it has taken them down to the road, which is truly horrific. But the left has become a culture of speech phobics. They find it intolerable. The thing that drove them crazy about Charlie is he kept on saying, debate me. For people who are intolerant, that is the most infuriating invitation you can give them. They don't want to hear from you. They want to silence you. And these people spend more time silencing other people than they do speaking for themselves.
It's so true, Professor, and it looks like it's escalated. And there's a new study that is exploring this assassination culture. And we found this fascinating. The respondents who believe the murder of Elon Musk or Trump is partially justified or more. So when it came down to Elon Musk, 31% said they find the murder partially justified. 50% left-wing respondents find murder partially justified. 14% right-of-center respondents found murder partially justified. When it came down to President Trump, 38% of all respondents found murder was partially justified. 56% left-wing respondents found murder partially justified. 20% right-of-center respondents found found murder partially justified. So there is something wrong with the culture when you have numbers that high.
That's right. I mean, Lawrence, my book, The Indispensable Right, it's about rage. And I talk about how rage is this strange thing. It gives a license to people to say and do things they wouldn't otherwise say or do. And what they won't admit is that they like it. It's contagious.
Wow.
And they need it. And it gives them these excuses to decouple themselves from every form of human decency. That's what we saw in the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
It's incredible. I hope we dive into these numbers more and more and get to the bottom of this. Professor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lawrence.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.